Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/cheating stories, where OP discovered that his son may not actually be his. Let's begin. I found out my ex cheated on me while we were together. I don't know how to feel. Posted by Reddit user HouseSeeder.
Quick backstory. Me and my son's mother broke up about 4.5 years ago now. He was about 16 months old at the time. It wasn't messy or anything. She ended it, but everything was done pretty peacefully, dividing everything, how custody would go, etc. We get on well still. She's actually married now and about to have a daughter with her husband. I'm enjoying the single life as we were together pretty much all of my 20s. This past weekend on a night out, I ran into an old friend of hers who I knew pretty well too and got chatting for about 30 to 40 minutes. We were both pretty bombed to be fair, and as the chat went along, she started to say that while they used to be really good friends, there was a reason why she stopped talking to her. Then said she always thought she treated me like shit. A lot of people have said this to me, and I realized after we broke up, and that she really started to get annoyed by some of her actions when they would go out. I knew she was flirty type of chick but had never thought she would ever do anything. Anyway, I said this to her friend and she stopped me and said, well, she did. Needless to say, I was pretty shocked. She then proceeds to tell me about a weekend away that her and a group of girls went on with my ex. During one of the nights, my ex had disappeared for about 45 minutes, and when her friend went back to the room to grab some makeup, walked in on my ex fucking a guy from the group they met when they first went out that night. The guy left. My ex asked if she was going out to tell me. She said she wasn't, but you have to. She then said we were pretty much over anyway and she will. This happened about 9 months before she got pregnant with our son. We are obviously long over, but I actually feel pretty sick about it and pretty pissed. I don't see the point of bringing it up given the life she has now, but still, I don't feel great. Has anyone ever found out about cheating long after it happened, and how did you feel go about it? Edit, I'll add, and thanks for the concern and advice. Bet my son is the splitting image of me as a child, has all my features, etc. I haven't doubted he is mine at all, but yeah, maybe that is a wise idea. But what happens from there? He is always going to be my son. I love him to bits.
OP, if I were you, I would do a DNA test on your son without saying anything to your ex, and explain to her husband that you've discovered her infidelities. Yes, plural, because there will always be more than one. And from what you have discovered, she has been cheating on you since way before she got married. You have a duty to give the dude what you were denied, an informed decision. OP, I just want you to realize that her friends are exactly the same way as her. Obviously, all her friends knew that she was cheating on you, but they didn't say anything because they also need to see other men too. Look, OP, the biological father needs to pay for child support and college. You can still be in his life. Good luck, my dude. And now for today's second story. My friend owes me money and treats me very badly, but I have to tiptoe around her. Is this text that I plan to send her okay? Posted by Reddit user Ballroom Badass.
TLDR, I was semi-cornered into lending my friend money during a week-long holiday together. She treated me like garbage throughout and is now putting off paying me back. It's been 5 weeks. Her phone was stolen on day 1, so I had to make all of our online purchases and pay for a hotel that she just forgot to book before we left but was supposed to take care of. She now owes me almost 300 euros. If she had asked for money because she was in financial difficulty, it'd be different because 1, I would have said no because I'm not comfortable lending out 300 euros, but 2, theoretically I would have understood if it took her time to pay me back. She agreed to go on this trip and knew full well what expenses to expect, even considered coming back with me to my home country for a quick stint before going home. So I figured she was financially in shape. I didn't feel I had a choice other than spend the money if I wanted to do touristy things or, you know, have a place to sleep. I couldn't believe how poorly she treated me throughout the trip. At one point I was worried that our train was late and that there was no communication about it, and when I quietly said I wanted to go find someone to ask about it, she literally yelled at me to stop it. I didn't even know what she was referring to, but it was loud enough that I jumped and it hurt my ears. I'm hypersensitive. This was after several instances like this, so I finally asked her to please watch how she spoke to me because her tone indicated I was being stupid or unreasonable when I wasn't. She rolled her eyes and said she didn't mean to make me feel stupid, but I was worrying over nothing. I reminded her how many times she'd already expressed worry over something that I didn't necessarily find worrisome, and that I hadn't spoken to her at all how she'd just spoken to me. She rolled her eyes and went silent. Anytime we didn't do something her way, she acted out and came out with an elaborate explanation of why her way would have been better. Anytime I said I wasn't comfortable doing something or asked if we could approach something differently, she criticized or blamed me. I'm not adventurous enough for wanting to take a quicker route and not the scenic route to make our train, or for not wanting to sneak onto a paid history tour for free. Then I interrupted her spiritual moment so that we'd get back to our tour bus on time and so I could use the bathroom, whereas she didn't care if we were late. Our tour guide was very clear that he expected us to get back on time and would even leave without us. She picked fights with me over everything. It was like she was looking for conflict. She twisted stories to blame me for so many stupid things. She was always right and my thoughts never seemed to matter. There were some nice moments, but even so she swung violently between saying she was fine and being happy and acting really meanly towards me. Anyway, it was awful. I came home and cried out of relief because I just walked on eggshells for a week. While there I felt myself coming alive talking to strangers because just for a moment, I could be myself. She's always been a little selfish and self-righteous, but it's really increased lately, even before the trip, and her better qualities are fading away. I really wonder if she has a personality disorder. I don't think I can be friends anymore, to be honest. There was just so much meanness figuring this trip, and I tried so hard to be kind in expressing disagreement or support or that I wasn't judging her or whatever, and she, in the exact same situations, was so snarky at me. She also revealed that her mental health has been quite bad. Worth noting here that we met in university but both have ended up on another continent, in neighboring countries. She has decided to move in with her parents for the summer, in part to distress. So 5 weeks ago, we get back. She says she just needs time to get a phone and access her bank accounts. That's perfectly reasonable, no problem. 3 weeks in and nothing. So I asked when I could expect it. She sent a voice note apologizing and saying she had a bunch of surprise expenses related to moving and an injury, and makes it clear that paying me back would put her in difficulty. She said she hadn't meant to snub me but had admittedly put off paying me back. She then said she'd be getting paid in the next 2 weeks and could pay me back when she got payment. I said okay, thanks for your honesty and for the update. I asked how she was doing and everything. No answer, which is unlike her. I think it's worth mentioning that I know her parents very well, and they'd be more than happy to lend her money to pay me back and make sure she has what she needs. Now it's been 2 weeks to the day and I've not heard from her. I feel bad because I know she's going through something, but I hate that she's making me chase her. And I don't trust her to tell the truth anymore about her finances because I thought she was fine and she had this money a few weeks ago when we got back and before these surprise expenses. And I saw how much she can twist facts during our trip to fit her narrative. I also wonder if she's punishing me for not bowing to her every order during the trip. In any case, it is starting to weigh on me. So, knowing I need to tiptoe around a fragile ego, this is what I wrote but haven't sent. Was thinking of waiting until Wednesday. Thoughts, edit, thanks for the responses. I knew I could be a doormat and that I can attract energy vampires, and the comments are a reminder even if it stings a bit, especially because we've known each other for 14 years. Effectively, I could have said I wasn't comfortable shelling out the money. The problem is that every time you make an online purchase here, your bank sends a security check to your phone via your bank app. My bank does the same thing, so when we went to a certain museum, for example, we found out once there that they had no physical ticket office and had to buy online. We also found a tour that was only available for online purchase. We actually tried to have her pay for stuff with her card, but when we realized the security checks were going to her lost phone, well, but she definitely could have paid for the hotel. I included all the nice stuff in my message that I shared here, because I'm operating on the assumption that she has a personality disorder or is at least very mentally unwell, and I read in both cases that it's best to be very nice when discussing anything conflictual. I do hope she's well and all, but this was mostly to reduce the possibility that she'd go on the defense. I just sent a less fluffy version of my message, and if still nothing, then I'm going to write her parents, who have always seemed much more reasonable than she is anyway, to talk to her. Then yeah, this friendship will be over. My goal at this point is to get the money, and hopefully the photos, but I can let that one go. Last choice is effectively to get neither, absorb the loss and treat it as a lesson and give her a solid piece of my mind before ending it.
Personally, I would just consider the 300 euros as a tuition fee. The lesson is that this is not someone you ever want to travel with, this is not someone you want to lend money to, and this is definitely not someone you want to be associated with. Look, OP, my prediction is that she's never going to pay you. She doesn't have the money. She didn't have it even before you went on your trip. Just save yourself the time, energy, and frustration. Just make sure that you don't fall for it ever again. Or you can just directly contact her parents and get your money that way. Your choice, OP. Good luck. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.